But well, not sure. We'll see. Or go
Yeah,
research.
it's it is funny how everyone has like an opinion on this, and it's just like, can you imagine if everyone had any opinion,
Yeah, but
on
these guys are the Central Bureau for what are they? What's in English? It's they're from the government.
yeah.
So it's a governmental financial think tank, basically.
So basically, they find whatever research is convenient to the powers that be, and just say, "Look, we have data."
Yeah. They need I we can talk about when I reached out, I actually went through their contact stuff um
Hmm.
online to say, "Hey, if you need someone else to teach you."
Yeah, clearly you're a
I'm
noob. Clearly you knew nothing. But
let me I think you should reconsider your position that you took today.
yeah, well, that's pretty crazy. Um,
I'm no one, but I'm gonna tell you what to think.
that's the thing about crypto, though, is expertise of any kind is only based on experience, whether it's your experience or the experience of others in the past.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even if it's not like if someone else's experience, you learned it from their textbooks that they wrote, it still comes from expertise. And with crypto, there's no expertise. It's so new. Satoshi is the only, like, I guess the original expert on crypto, sort of, but not even him because he drew on other things. And it's now it's just like whoever, basically people like us who just like use the stuff and read about it and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and to a
Yeah.
greater extent, I have to say, developers who actually write the code themselves understand it, and then people who don't are zero experts. They don't know anything unless they've gone through our thing. So
You are zero. You are with your opinion today. You're -10 on my list. but
yeah, exactly.
but yeah, I think we can talk. I think this is a great topic, by the way, because I think as well the fact that I just reached out to them like that. It's very crypto of me to just be like, I don't have any qualifications. I'm not one of your employees. I don't work for you, but I'm gonna. I think it's because in crypto we're so used to like being able to reach out directly to CEOs and people are pretty much it's flat, right? So it's
Yeah,
like whoever's behind something, we DM them. We're like, I don't like that new feature.
yeah,
so,
of course.
so I'm
It's also
basically treating
funny.
the government the same way. I'm like, I have an opinion.
It's also funny that I have zero education in crypto because no one does, right? But people have been recommended as like an expert. People, oh, I know a crypto guy. Do you know a crypto guy? And they say, oh, talk to this guy. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's
Well,
still at that level. It's almost like, do you know a mechanic? Sure, I
can we
know a
talk about
mechanic.
that as can we talk about that as well? Because recently, by teaching, I've realized that there's more and more programs going out there with like, oh, you get a blockchain certification,
Mm-hmm.
and it bugs me a little bit. I've The reason why I created like the cryptocurrency deep dive is because I got frustrated with other programs out there that were like longer, very expensive, and not at all interesting. And there was like, we're gonna take 3 weeks to tell you actually how to have a wallet. And I'm like, I look at the program and I'm like, why? Why? Come with me
Yeah.
for 3 hours and I'll show you the ropes and you do whatever you need to do afterwards. But I don't know. There's all this new wave of people and they're so anxious to learn and then they turn to these
Experts.
supposed I don't know. Well, I also am, I guess, putting myself out there like as a semi expert, but at least I'm not trying to like certify people. You know what I mean? I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Well,
I
we
don't
have,
know.
do you know
Sorry.
Wald Tangiers? Do you know that name?
Nope.
He's not a person that I usually see commenting, but he says, "What's up, Joel and Eleanor?" So we got six people
Oh
watching.
my god, we're live?
Yes,
I've
we've
been
been.
rambling.
No, this is on purpose. It's okay.
No.
We have six people live on watching on YouTube, and I think just one or two on Odyssey right now. But this has literally been while the stream kicks in.
Hi.
So now, hey
Hi,
everyone,
everyone.
we have a fantastic Friday show for you. Let me just roll the intro, and then we'll get right into it. Yeah, so hey everyone, and as I'm sure you must have seen, I am bringing you another edition of the wonderful Friday Digital Cash Rundown, and for these extra long days when we don't have a Dash podcast immediately after, I feel like we should bring someone special. So that's why Eleanor is on. Everyone say hi to Eleanor. I'm waiting for
Hello,
you.
everyone.
Come on, Wald. I see you in the comments. Nudge, you're on. You want to say something? Okay, whatever. It's fine. Odysee. I prefer that you watch via Odysee if you can. The video should be linked in the YouTube description on Odysee. I'm not sure. Hopefully, I remember to do that. But otherwise, you just go Odysee.com and you look up Digital Cash Network and you see I'm live and you go watch there. So that's what you do. Eleanor is a professional, certified expert. Oh no, she's a an educator in the space who a lot of this insight and stuff is not free. So in that slash the desert lakes, drop in a little super chat with a message, or on Odysee, you just hit the credit button next to your little comment, and then you can drop a little credit, make a hyper chat, and then that's how you get to. If you're just doing like the free comments here, it better be a good one to get through.
I'll dismiss them. Otherwise, I'll be like, "No, you gotta pay to get some information from us tonight."
Yeah. Well, anyway, we got a bunch of crazy stuff happening in the world today, and obviously the big one is the Salvador stuff. But because it's so big, I'll just push that back until we got like a lot of people listening and stuff. But it's the year of I wouldn't say that it's not the year of technical innovation because there is a lot that's happening this year, but it's the year of headlines from big players, notably states like governments, and also people like, Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey and stuff like that. So, first let's start with your friend, right? There's this Dutch think tank official, or, as you explained it to me, government think tank. But so basically, he's a government guy, but it's a government think tank dude. Peter Hasekamp. He's a director of the Dutch Bureau for Economic Analysis under the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Policy. He published an essay, basically said the Netherlands must ban Bitcoin. And it's like, all right, that's a little aggressive. And basically, he seems to talk about he does not think it's good as a medium of exchange, as a store of value, as a unit of account, and so it sucks. And everyone else has lagged on. The Netherlands has lagged on being crypto craze skeptic, and yeah, must ban it right away. Mining everything, just get rid of the whole thing. So first off, I mean, obviously, no one or very few people listening to this are going to agree with his take, but what's your take on that? This guy, first off, does this guy have any power or clout or anything?
Okay, so this news came out today, and I saw the Dutch crypto Twitter picking up on it. So it's obviously other people have expressed opinions upon this. It triggered me because I guess
Of course.
it's normal that certain institutionals are a bit wary of crypto, but considering the news that we saw this week, considering the market, I was like, this is such a boomer position to have right now, and how dare you have this position so loudly. And I understand that this is a governmental think tank, and they report on financial risk, and they do a bunch of stuff, and they publish a lot of research, but it feels maybe the time of it just felt pretty off. And so for them, it's really everything's bad, about crypto. It's like it's bad money, it's for fraud, it's for criminals. I feel like it's such an old narrative. It feels very detached from the reality. So I couldn't help myself tweet about it, tell them that they were wrong, tell them as well that the Netherlands are actually already they already implement the AMLD5, which is the European directive for cryptocurrency. So we're already on an umbrella position. So actually his opinion doesn't really matter because, hey, we're part of the EU here, right?
Yeah.
So there's an umbrella. There's we've decided, the Netherlands have decided to be under the European umbrella. So European law trumps kind of what he's saying. So as long as the EU doesn't budge, this is kind of just FUD, right?
Yeah.
So that's one point. And then recently, BitTonic, which is actually a cryptocurrency service provider here in the Netherlands to buy and sell. Basically, they fought a decision from the central bank, because actually they were saying that they were enforcing the MLD5 in a too strict of a way,
Mm,
basically. And so they wanted to make sure that they didn't have to KYC all of their users. So they pushed Bitonic, who is one of the crypto companies here in the Netherlands, pushed back and fought against this decision and won. So that was a great news for the Netherlands. I thought we're going forward. There's more than 700,000, I think, people in the Netherlands that are either holding cryptocurrency, investing in cryptocurrency, using crypto. So there's like good news, and then this comes in. It's like, come on, let's stay on track, guys. Let's do good regulation, stay on the topic, and move forward, and not have these sort of backwards moments. That was my take, and I
yeah.
reached out.
And did they
I reached
answer?
out. No, they didn't answer, but no one's gonna respond to me on Twitter. But
Of
I
course.
did actually email them and say, hi. I saw your position today in the media. Just I'm here if you need any like crypto 101 or deep dives. I'm happy to just like volunteer my time to tell you what cryptocurrencies are about. um, but yeah,
Yeah,
so that's the
well, we
situation.
got a hyper chat from Nudge. Hi, Nudge. He says, I feel like such a hack crypto enthusiast. I don't even own a trench coat. Well, neither do
Why am I?
I. Neither do you. I think it could be either the illusion of nerdy stuff, but probably more like nefarious. Like, you got a big old trench coat and you're selling stolen watches or something in there. And yeah. Well, thanks for the message. Uh, yes,
Thank you.
I at least we're not as hack as this crazy Dutch guy who, you know, anyway. It's pretty interesting how like I found a lot more meaning in human communication when I've sort of tried to look at what they're saying behind the words. And so this dude is just like freaking out over stuff. It seems like
Yeah.
I would think that there's two motivations. One is he has a job, which is to come up with, bloviated opinions, and he's doing his job, right? He's like, it's like, I might matter too. He's like
I
saying on it.
exist. I exist, and I know stuff, and I'm gonna say things now.
Yes. And then the other side of it is also like the boomer side of it, as you pointed out. And the thing is, like, people get mad. They're like, "Yo, don't be ageist, don't be whatever, generationalist or whatever." And I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with being old, other than you'd rather be young because you're closer to the end. But I think there's nothing wrong. It's talking about the boomer state of mind, which is it's not a well thought out argument. It's not even an argument. It's just this is new and therefore I don't like it. And that's like the whole like, oh, it's not backed by a physical asset. Well, neither is the dollar, but you don't really care about that. Or neither is the euro. Neither is any of these things. I mean, the euro never was backed by a physical asset as opposed to like the dollar, which was. And then you say, like, it's not a store of value, which I mean, I can argue that takes time, and I mean, probably not yet. It's not a unit of account, which nothing is until it's either mandated by law to be a unit of account, or it just becomes that way naturally over a lot of usage, and it's not a good means of transferring value, not a good money. And Bitcoin, maybe today, BTC is a little bit less efficient at that, but as far as all its children and stuff, some can be quite efficient. So, I mean, it's just like one of those things where, how old is the guy? Do you know how old he is?
No, I'm not gonna make a prediction on someone's age.
Yeah.
I would say, I'm trying to like open and have a healthy dialogue with them, so I don't. But I would say late 40s.
Yeah,
Late
let me
40s.
look him up really quick
Really?
just to be sure. Cuz like again, it doesn't age has nothing to do with boomerism. The
No,
state of
no.
mind.
It's more. I think what bugged me was that it was not profound. That's what bugged me, I think, the most. If this had been like a proper, on certain details, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But it was just the old, the old song, you know what I mean? Like, it's criminal, it's for gambling, it's financial instability. And what he was saying is that we need to stop this right away, because by not regulating on it, we're empowering them, and so it's going to get out of hand. And it's this sort of
Hmm.
very paternalistic, controlling narrative, which really, I think that's what bugged me the most. I think it was just,
Yeah, and
no, back off.
obviously that kind of um oh, he has his Twitter thing is at Hasekamp. So you can actually see him. He's definitely not a young guy, but he's not like doesn't look horrendously old either. So it's just
No.
the boomer state of mind. I mean, yeah, and I will say something that might be controversial to some people, hopefully not, which is you shouldn't be going to the government for your cutting edge ideas and think pieces. Like that's that's the most ridiculous thing ever. It's like why it's like looking for your cuisine from like a gas station, like the little convenience store in there. It's just like that's not where you're gonna find the best stuff. You don't go there for, haute cuisine or anything. It just so why like
No, but
yeah.
I don't think this message was for people. I think this message was to the government. I think this was,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they work, but maybe there were some internal memos, there was a report done, and now he's making more PR about it to sort of maybe change the narrative. That's why you go into the public media to say these things, right? It's to
Yeah.
FUD on people, but it's also to create a national FUD so that these people then contact their representatives, and those representatives pass new laws, right? So it's that
Mm-hmm.
whole lobbying game, basically. So you're right. These think tanks aren't really there always for people to get information, but they're there to implement a certain narrative, right? They're there to reinforce certain things. So it's just a bit weird, because I think the Dutch regulations here are pretty clear. AMLD5, the Dutch financial authorities, are pretty. They're open. Like, crypto has been in this space for now a while. Like, at
Mm-hmm.
least in the Netherlands, it's not. There's actually a lot of companies here working in the space, paying taxes, working with regulators. This is nothing new. The Dutch central bank obviously is ruling on new on subject as well. So I don't know. For me, there's obviously not everybody in the government agrees on maybe how things are happening. Obviously,
Well, that's probably good because you know, hopefully they don't all listen to what this guy says because he's got some strange ideas to put the least. Um,
yeah, yeah,
Now, on the other side of this, well, not the other side of the spectrum, but somewhere in the middle of the spectrum there, we have Nigeria, which is aiming to deploy its own central bank digital currency by the end of the year.
yeah.
Any initial thoughts on that one?
I feel like all these central banks launching their own digital currencies is like someone at the central bank is like young and is trying to make a difference and is really living his best life because he had a meeting and then offered this on the table, and everybody was so bored with their job that they thought, yes, let's just do it. I
Yeah.
can't help but feel that this is a marketing stunt, and why not? But it's also so uninteresting from a cryptocurrency perspective side, right? Like, for us, it's like, yeah, okay, it's the central bank doing a crypto. It's not crypto, right? It's just
Mm,
another digital fiat on another spreadsheet, which is kind
yeah.
of what you already have, but it's a marketing stunt from central banks.
Yeah, I think it seems like I mean, so far it's very much of a marketing stunt. I also think it could turn out to be that their fiat systems are just so horribly outdated that they're seeing technology catch up and they're just saying we might as well modernize fiat before we lose it. It's
Yeah,
just like we need to like make sure everyone has access to these wallets and we need to maintain whatever control we have. They're kind of like saying, well, we'll compromise. Like we won't let crypto, but we'll make our own thing. And the thing I think is weird is like you're issuing a new digital currency. Well, isn't it just going to be the old one but on a different digital ledger? What ledger were you like? How do you keep up with all the dollars that are in existence today. There must be a ledger out there, and it must not be a piece of paper either. It must be digital. So are they just gonna like overhaul it into another? I don't know. It seems like I honestly believe, and this is a little maybe a little I don't know if it's utopian or ever, but I honestly believe that this was a fad that will be gone in 10 or so years. Like people are going to be laughing back. Hey, remember when every government was trying to say we're going to create our own digital currency and like make a new one and stuff. So anyway, that's my take on it. I don't know what you think.
Maybe governments are gonna ban central bank digital
That would be
currency.
hilarious.
They'll be like, no, we're reverting back to the old fiat. This is unacceptable. We do not want all this traceability. We need to keep it all on paper. Let's go back to an opaque system. No, I don't know. I don't know what to. For me right now, it's just like, okay, obviously lol, because like it's not
Mm-hmm.
crypto, and then like you said, it's probably going to be gone very soon, or I don't know, every central bank needs to launch their digital currency, and then we can get over it and it's not news anymore, because it's just not. It's yeah, it's just, let's keep fiat as long as it can still live. Like, what if you were in their position, if you're working in a central bank, wouldn't you try to make it cool? Like, wouldn't you try to make your job just a little bit more funky 1 year or so, and to just like try to innovate and bring something to the table? People have
Yeah.
KPIs. So yeah, so yay for whoever at the Nigerian central bank is launching this. I'm sure that they're looking at crypto.
Mm-hmm.
These people are looking at our market, at this huge market that we're part of, and
Mm-hmm.
thinking, I can do something because I work at the central bank, so I can do a CBDC.
Yeah, it's like us too. It kind of reminded me of like the renewables push, where it's like everyone wants renew, which I'm sure is it's a trendy thing in it hit Bitcoin as well, but it's the
Yeah,
trendy thing of we need to run on a arbitrarily defined thing of renewable energy, and then it's like a fad sticker that you put on your business, whereas in the future, whatever this concept of renewables will be, will just probably be like energy because
it
things will
will
just
be
phase.
nuclear,
Yes,
because
hopefully,
think,
if they're
can we just
smart.
all go to nuclear already and stop being like, oh, just the renewal. So the
Yes.
criminal argument bugs me. Because from the chain analysis that we have, it's like less than 1%. The environmental argument really bugs me as well, because because the only reason why we can see as well all the electricity that is consumed right now is that all of this is public, and that we can see the computational power that is required, so we can do the math, etc. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, okay, let's go back and look at how much energy fiat is consuming, how much banks, everything. If you add up those spreadsheets, which you cannot do because we have no idea how much all of that industry is consuming, we're benchmarking cryptocurrencies and proof of work to nothing. It's unfair. um and then to make it all, oh, it has to be renewable, it has to be energy friendly. Again, it's another narrative out there, I think, just to sort of dismiss this
Which I
industry.
don't want to rehash stuff that I've said in previous podcasts, but I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks from now or something or 2 weeks ago. But when we're talking about the renewable stuff, I have a feeling that the whole push for the renewable stuff, the whole like Elon Musk and everything like that, had a lot to do with geopolitics between the
Yeah,
Western powers and China, where they
yeah.
can't say we want to take China's power away from this, but they can say we want to take away the ability to run Bitcoin on the exact kind of infrastructure that they're running in China. So it's like a little bit of a it's more of like it's not trying to make Bitcoin cleaner, it's trying to make Bitcoin more in Western powers control and less in China's
it's
control. So
it's it's not, it's not I don't think it's serious. I don't think these environmental issues are serious. I think, like you said, that it's probably goes deeper, and they're just trying to throw shade at China. On the other hand, most of China's mining is done with hydro,
yeah.
so you know take that.
Yeah, well
I
then
don't know.
maybe volcano or something soon, but that's
Oh no,
That's a
Oh
different
god.
thing. I have to before we jump into the whole Salvador thing.
Yeah.
First off, do you know much about China's digital yuan? Because Nudge asked, "What is China doing with the digital yuan? Is it just going to be a trade of physical currency for the CBDC?" Do you know much about the digital yuan at this
I
point?
I don't know much. I just know that they launched it, that it was the other CBDC of another news cycle, but it's not. I don't have any other opinion than what I already shared for Nigeria. I guess it's kind of, for me, it's always like a blanket
Yeah.
CBDC statement. No, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't know more.
So I heard that they were doing the CBDC type stuff, or they're considering doing that in the U.S. regarding like government payments to people and stuff because everyone gets a wallet because right now the system, I mean, government sucks anyway, but the system of giving people payouts that they shouldn't be giving, but that's a different story, is it's really inefficient because if they are like registered and they have a bank account and all this kind of stuff, then they can do that. Some people, they just mailed physical pieces of paper called checks.
You're
Like they
kidding.
literally, no, I'm not even kidding. So that's what I'm saying about like this whole nonsense.
Well,
And
at the same time, I'm joking, but I know that France actually still uses those checks. The
yes,
Netherlands has banned them because the Netherlands better. But I know that
yeah,
some countries
because
still in
it's
Europe
they want to
actually
get
are still.
beyond all renewables, and paper's not a renewable. Uh,
They probably just know. It's just that there's differences in the digitalization of these governments, right? And Netherlands is pretty good at being digital already.
yes,
France is still catching up.
yeah, France is catching up in a lot of ways, but I think even France might be a little bit more modern than the U.S. financial system. The U.S. financial system, in both a regulatory area and in terms of the payment technology, is pretty old. Like right now, I do believe that the majority of transactions are used with a card or with a chip. Like you put it in and you leave it in and you whatever and you take it out. Like now, just now. And there's still some people who do the swipe. And then like as far as like NFC like tap and pay type stuff, I've almost never seen that in the US at all.
Really?
It just really like doesn't exist almost. Like I mean, I've seen like
Wow.
obviously the NFC like tapping, like for example, that's how I get into my building. You tap a little thing, beep, and it opens, right? But as far as the payments for that, I've like almost nothing uses that. It's just very strange. And I do see the little like
Really?
terminal on these places. It has a little like Wi-Fi like signal like drawing on it, so you know you can do it. Just no one does it. And I mean, I've already been like it's funny because I don't know if I've ever had a chip card back in the day because I got rid of my bank account in 2016, and I think it was still doing the swipe stuff back then, and so that I just missed this whole modern evolution. It's just like
Actually, here in the Netherlands, there's more places where you cannot spend. There's a lot of times the sign is no cash, right? So you can't use your
sounds
cash,
like California. Ugh.
and you have to tap. Like, who's that weird person who's like making everybody in the queue wait because they're like still putting the card in? It's like, no, here you have to tap and go. It's like, no, actually, even some supermarkets now, there's no more cashiers. So you're yourself, you're checking yourself out, you're scanning your own products, and you tap and go.
You know, makes
So
sense to me. I mean, I just crypto infrastructure needs to really catch up because I do have
yes,
like a
we do.
scan and pay, which is
Yes, we
and it's
do.
really fast. Like as soon where I like buy my coffee, when you press the button that send, by the time your finger like leaves the phone, it's like paid, which is nice. But it's like scan, beak, and it pays,
No,
and it's
yeah,
all right. But we do need NFC
no,
type stuff.
user experience in crypto overall needs to get its things together because fiat is not that bad at the moment. I'm discovering horribleness and trying to pay people overseas,
Mm-hmm.
and the length of time and fees and all those horrible things because I knew of them, but I'm finally truly in the deep of it, and sucks really bad. But
Mm-hmm.
in the Netherlands, got to give it up to them. We have Ideal, which is a payment processor among all the banks, so we have zero fees and instant payment for everything almost.
Mm-hmm.
So fiat in the Netherlands, is pretty good. So that's why the use case for crypto here in terms of the fee argument or the how much time it would take to settle bank transfer doesn't work here for the Netherlands. And been living here for 4 years and just being in awe of a lot of things here that how they do.
Yeah. And that's the thing about crypto is crypto, in order to compete with fiat, it has to do what fiat does, minus the theft and things like that. But it has to do that stuff as efficiently at least. And
Yeah,
then past that. So
yeah,
should just point
yeah.
out that my buddy Lorenzo said hi. He's watching. He's the guy who he was the CTO of Dash Text, which is a SMS Dash wallet, which now that Cointext is gone, is the only crypto SMS wallet, I believe. So yeah,
Wow.
he's a great dude.
Hi.
Yeah, hi Lorenzo. Just want to give him a specific shout out. The rest of you guys in the live
So
chat I
wait,
like as well.
what's what's his what is Lorenzo's product? What is it
Dash
called?
Text. So it's basically a purely SMS based crypto wallet that
Hmm,
you can send and receive Dash to. And so
cool.
you literally send $5 and put their number in, and then it sends without internet. So if you have zero internet connection, it
Wow.
can
That's
still work.
actually, because we talk a lot about banking the unbanked and stuff, but
Hmm.
these type of products are so important, and we overlook all the time the fact that we're like, oh, you just need internet. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah,
This is really
which
nice.
let me I mean the all
I
right.
got the
So
link.
Lorenzo, you're getting
Dash
free
tech.
shout out to all your work. Dashtext.io.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
found it.
especially
I'm
big
gonna
in Venezuela. They do have a US thing as well as Spain,
go
Colombia, and
them.
Brazil.
Go
Um,
them.
and yeah,
Yeah.
they're integrated into Telegram and stuff like that too. Like you can send and receive
Oh,
via Telegram, which
yeah.
is a lot of people are using. So, and for one of these days when you have a lot of time, you could they have a few interesting charity programs and stuff that they've used, which
Wait, I'm just noticing they have all of. We have to go there. I know you don't want to go there
yeah,
right now, but they have all of these countries in South America.
yeah.
They
I,
don't have El Salvador.
yes, now's the time to go there. So, the country of El Salvador. And the news was announced before it became official, but now it's official, I believe. It decided to add Bitcoin, specifically Bitcoin, as a legal tender. And a few other countries have followed suit in various ways that are a little bit different here or there. And it's all kind of, ongoing. So I'm not going to touch too much on that kind of stuff. But let's just talk about El Salvador stuff first. So, first, what was your hot take when you saw this initially?
I didn't care.
You didn't care because
No,
it's the wrong coin. Damn it! It should be my favorite coin. Was it one of those things, or
no, I just thought, I mean, sure, like, why not? You know what I mean? It's like, great. I want to see then real, when a government says something like this, it's usually just weird news. But then I thought, okay, this is actually really serious. I'll reconsider it. I'll look into it. I'll research it. Okay. And then I thought maybe I should learn a bit about El Salvador first because I realized I didn't know much about that country
good
or
food?
their president. Yeah, that interesting. Like
Mm,
I want to see it like as a really big milestone for crypto, but at the same time, I'm like,
yeah, our kind of area. It won't be soon necessarily, but it's just the rate of economic growth is pretty crazy. Africa too, although Africa I think has more things to figure out before Latin America, but it's still. And then of course embracing crypto kind of lets you skip ahead of the line where you're not trying to make your fiat more efficient. You're just going straight there. So
yeah, yeah,
I
that makes
I'm going to
sense.
talk about all the positive things first, which
Okay, let's do that. I
the
like that.
the biggest most positive thing is just it adds actual legitimacy to the concept of a money that anyone knows who they are. Sorry, Craig, right? Made, right? Just and then that anyone can run without the permission of anyone else already. And there's a slight distinction also between like proof of stake coins where you do need to buy coins from existing holders somehow in order to participate in running it, but if it's in a if it's a well distributed enough ecosystem, it shouldn't be a problem. But I'm just saying, like, even though there are mining cartels and mining equipment manufacturing monopolies and stuff like that, anyone can, like, I could be mining Bitcoin on this computer right here or this one, right? I could just be doing it. It wouldn't work very well today, but I could. And it just the fact that that is recognized as by a government, which is historically speaking like the most hostile actor to innovation in the planet, I would say, is a government. And the fact that they're recognizing that adds a huge amount of legitimacy to people who are waiting for legitimacy, which, those also known as boomers, but, whatever. So,
Yeah, that's
yes.
actually, I think you just hit the point on why I was a bit like, well, whatever. Because do we really need what you just said? Do we really need the legitimacy from like, please continue saying good things about the news, but like I think
well,
let's continue. But that's a very interesting point. It's just like, well, yeah, whatever.
yeah, I mean, just think about do we need to know what, the president of Brazil thinks about electric cars like Tesla? Like, do I need his opinion before I drive it? Does, the government of Turkmenistan need to officially put the electric vehicle on their flag or something like that for me to like it? Like, no, I just do not think about what the government thinks when I make my decisions of what's best for my life, except for, are they going to kick my ass if I do this? That's literally the only thing I think about from government is, are they going to ruin my life if I do this? Otherwise, no, I don't care what they think. So anyway, the good parts, it's all that.
Good part. Focus. Good part.
It's it's all that. Right now when you have like legal tender, which is, everyone has to accept this kind of thing. Everyone, it's the officially recognized money that you can pay taxes in and other things like that. It's things that everyone hates but has to do. Right now you have a central bank controlled currency that's legal tender everywhere in the world, basically. You add an option for that legal status to something that is not controlled by any one government or any one entity as far as we're able to tell, and that does not have those same inflationary properties. That is a pretty big thing. That is a good thing. So, and that's the thing with all these discussions, a lot of nuance has to go in there, right? Now, for the people who have not actually looked into the law and the terms and things like that, here's where it gets a little sketchy and it starts to become a little like, this is where it's just like,
wait, do you have anything else that we should say that's positive about this? Wait, okay, credibility, yay for innovation for Salvador.
It gives
what there's more
a lot. Yeah, a lot of people.
No tax on capital gains, right? For people in El Salvador.
Yes, that is actually huge.
So that's a positive.
That means you can actually like store and keep wealth, and the government doesn't take wealth over your wealth. Like,
right.
That's huge. And I should point out also that other Latin American countries have done this for all cryptocurrencies, I hear. Now, I think it was it Panama or what?
Because it's also, they're trying to attract basically crypto entrepreneurs and crypto companies. I saw something.
Yes. And that will be good for their country specifically,
right,
of course. And
right.
the other thing is a lot of people will be, forced to, again, we'll get into that part later, interact and adopt a technology that I believe, and I don't mean necessarily the specifics of Bitcoin, although possibly, but definitely crypto as a whole will be kind of jump-started into something that I think is massively beneficial to humanity. Whereas I think it was inevitable, but it's going to happen faster in this region and probably across the world as a result.
Yeah.
Now, the implementation, though, is a little sketchy for a couple reasons. First of all, it mentions Bitcoin specifically, which giving official status to like picking a winner and a loser of a currency is crypto, but you can only use this one. It's the same kind of nonsense that got us into crypto to begin with. It's just like, what happens if you're an Salvadoran merchant, you take it, and then there's a coin fork, a coin split. So then I kind of paid you in like 2 different Bitcoins at this point. Like, is one of those illegal now and one of them's legal? Only one's legit? Like, it gets a little strange because crypto is by definition not a legitimate currency. It's super legitimate. It's above legitimacy or illegitimacy. It's something else, right? So There's that.
No, but more than anything, cryptocurrency is about choice. It's
Mm-hmm.
about freedom, let alone the forks and the stuff that happens.
Of
It's
course.
about giving people the freedom to choose whatever crypto suits them, fits them, talks to them
Mm-hmm.
for their own utility. So an authoritarian pseudo authority, even through all the power of their freakishly red laser eyes, they want to believe. I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of, I don't know. I think people are going to discover a lot of things about Bitcoin and how they can actually use it as a medium of exchange. I
Yes.
am here just like,
This is
show me,
this is
prove
going to
me I'm
be
wrong.
very interesting. And
Yeah.
the thing is, first off, they're mandating that everyone accept this, which on one side, having only one option that you have to take, right, or like legal tender, it helps to have two. But the problem is you're still forcing like it sucked the first time, and it's not just that they have to continue to accept whatever the legal currency is. It's that now it's that the process of forcing everyone to take this to begin with was already a problem. And then now they're forced to onboard another thing, which is going to be a big technical and logistical hurdle, which I'm sure I'll get into in just a second. But the other thing is, there's a company, and there's people say, like, "Wow, this guy's so cool. He's progressive. He loves his stuff." Okay, well, I hear that other neighboring countries. I mean, someone who was it who mentioned yeah, Nikoshimoto said Paraguay has even better policies. Yeah, I think that was one of the ones I was thinking of. And it's about, different cryptocurrencies. It's kind of weird that this is only Bitcoin, but it makes perfect sense when you realize they use they guarantee for anyone up to like hundreds of millions of dollars, I believe. They guarantee, the state guarantees for any merchant that does not want to hold on to Bitcoin that they can convert it to fiat. And they do it through a state partnership with LN Strike or Lightning Strike, the Strike payments, whatever they would call themselves. This Lightning fiat kind of payment processor thing, which now it's like now they're a central bank tool, kind of, which is kind of, it's very, can you imagine that's like lobbying yourself to get, so does this president
I
guy,
have
does he
I
own
have
stock in this company that he just gave this big old cronyist like gift that
I
they're
have
the exclusive?
hey,
Yeah.
hats off to the business developer of
Mm-hmm.
that payment system. Like
Who
he
wiggled in there?
or she did a great job. Like, hi guys at the daily stand up meeting. They're like, "Yeah, we're onboarding El Salvador this week." It's
Yeah.
that for their business. If it does well, yeah, kudos,
So
I guess.
yeah, it's got to be a cronyist thing if you think about it. Like, how did this one company get in, and then since they're a Lightning and Bitcoin only company, they just said no, only our coin, only the one we like, and
What, are you surprised that it was a maxi business developer? Of
yeah,
course, he just wanted the whole
it's not
pie
like
for himself.
it's not like BitPay. Imagine if BitPay had done it, for example,
Yeah,
and I don't even think that
yeah.
that would be the best
Well,
option. But at least you say, oh, with BitPay, like you have
there's
there's
options.
options for other coins and
That's the
stuff, and
key. That's the key thing. And hey, maybe we're like talking too soon. Maybe,
mm-hmm.
next bill that El Salvador passes is a multi cryptocurrency bill. Like maybe they just wanted to start with Bitcoin, and um
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe that's in the future roadmap, and we can still hope for other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure once the people who were involved with this deal are no longer in power, or if this thing turns into a disaster, I'm sure that it will open up. But right now, it's serving the people in power's needs. Now, before we jump into the the potential practical effects of this, Nudge leaves another super chat here, hyper chat. Says the U.S. isn't going to give up without a fight regarding its meddling in Central and South America, but through adopting blockchain cryptocurrency in these regions, issues like corruption by introducing a public ledger and reliance on the U.S. dollar would be reduced. And yeah, I mean, I think that that's part of the thing you're trying to. It's sort of like the Salvador thing, especially when you put in the laser eyes and all the other, you know, No pun intended, but pomp and circumstance, pomp. When you add
Uh,
all that to it, it's it's clear that it's a message. You're trying to compete with the U.S. directly for entrepreneurial talent in a emerging industry, but you're also trying to tell the dollar to go away in a certain extent. They're trying to be less reliant. People, have you set up with cryptocurrency wallets over your lifespan that you can remember?
you're asking me?
Yes.
I thought uh, it must be in the hundreds by now.
Yeah, that's a good
The,
number. It's
I don't want to say thousand because but maybe no, in the hundreds. It's in the hundreds.
yeah.
Because in certain events when that was like my only job day in day out, and I was there and I was just onboarding people like a machine.
Yeah, of course.
And when I was at Beats.com and I had those onboarding cards, which were so fun, where I had crypto on these little cards, and I was just like, and said I had created them. I was just like
Of
shilling them
course.
all the time. But now I guess even through my classes, yeah, hundreds, hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah, so how easy is it to onboard a person to crypto who's not familiar with it at all? And let's just
It's
take like decent ideal circumstances.
so they have a phone.
Yeah, like a mid 30s person of either gender with a smartphone and an internet connection who has not used this before.
You mean how easy it is for me to onboard
Yeah,
them?
like is it just like, oh yeah, it's great? Or do you have to like walk them through things?
That's such a good question though, because I feel like my experience on one, I got better at onboarding people as I do it
Of
more and
course.
more. Um, but right now, because I feel that it's a bit more mainstream, like cryptocurrencies are more mainstream, and they get it. They get it pretty fast. Um, and then I pushed them a bit because right away I said, okay, now I've given you crypto, right? You've opened a wallet, you sent me your address, I've sent you a bit of crypto, all good. Welcome to
Mm,
Internet Magic Money. This is great. I'm so happy for you. You've received the transaction I sent. All of that goes pretty well. And then I'm like, so let's talk about private keys now. It's not over. So that's because I add an extra layer, right? Because
mm-hmm.
I don't want to just give crypto to people and then not realizing that they can have full ownership of these digital assets. So relatively easy, but we're talking about certain cryptocurrencies here, right? Which are fast,
Mm-hmm.
cheap to send, which are being held on major wallets. I'm not making them download something like super obscure, which only
Mm-hmm.
runs from, for on desktop. No, I like to run certain products, non-custodial wallets, which give people their private keys, which give them the choice of holding multiple assets and have different gateway payments as well. So I'm very picky on what I put in people's hands.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, let's start rolling through some of these particulars of this. First off, it's a country of about like 6.4 million people. Not a
Yeah.
lot as far as countries go, but a lot as far as people goes, right? That's a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, not everyone is a merchant, and it's going to
Mm-hmm.
exclusively target merchants. Let's just say, I don't know. Let's just say 100,000 merchants for to be really like
Yeah.
pare it down very small. Let's just assume 100,000 merchants. 100,000 merchants are now out of compliance with the law if they do not implement this. So who is going to go to 100,000, you know, like ice cream stands, little street vendors, whatever, like up to big banks and corporations? Who's going to go to 100,000 of these and set them
if
all up?
if they had not done this just for Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
really, if they had not been said, okay, Bitcoin only and Lightning, I would have packed and gone to El Salvador to help this country get to crypto. So right now I'm being a little bit, I don't know. Am I doing a disfavor? Should I put all of that aside and just pack my bags and onboard those ice cream shops? Am I not being a good person by not doing
Well,
that?
I mean,
But I do it online, right? I do it every month, all the time. I teach. So like I could say, but it's just like ha, Joel, you're the
Mm-hmm.
one who's gone through recently through the whole Lightning Network experience. You're the one that I've been following, watching you, sharing your experiences about, opening,
Mm-hmm.
closing channels, trying to connect, all of that stuff. I wouldn't even know how to start teaching someone about the Lightning Network. I usually have these conversations in my classes as well because people are asking me why I'm airdropping BCH. So I do talk just I don't make it such a big deal, but I do mention, the scaling debate and that I show them the fees. I'm
Yeah.
like, look, it's super cheap. I couldn't have been able to send you I don't send like massive amounts as well. I send like €1 to each student. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I need to show them, that it's practical for me. Um, but I would how would I even begin to explain or make or tell people in my class to now open channels with me? Like that would be insane. That would be
Yeah. So
insane.
the thing about Lightning, and let me just skip ahead of that to say it's going to be complicated, and a lot of people are just going to go for the fiat solution, the fiat currency, government mandated cronyist little solution there. Sorry, I'm a little salty this thing, but they're probably going to do that. How many news headlines have you ever seen about crypto markets tank, Coinbase goes down, or something like that, or Binance? Like these are these centralized services that are some of the biggest in the world for handling people accessing them go down all the time whenever there's a surge in traffic. I mean, no, with all due respect to Strike, no one uses that. Like, as far as on a scale, there are no BitPay, and even BitPay, very few people actually pay with crypto these days. So it's like they're tiny in terms of like how they've grown to now. If they have 100,000 new businesses that they have to onboard in a different country that speaks a language that the founders don't necessarily speak, so they have to make sure they have a Spanish language support division that is going to be like 99% of the company probably. The logistical nightmare of getting everyone on board, all the crashes, all like the lost passwords, all the stuff, not to mention KYC, because it is a KYC service. 70% of Salvadorans, from what I heard the president say, don't have a bank account. So, what was preventing them from having a bank account, but somehow won't be a problem when they have to KYC for this service? And then you have people saying, well, I want to convert, but I can't. Oh, I don't have ID or something. And just the logistical nightmare. I'm already getting a little bit of anxiety building up in here. I'm just like, oh
I
no.
can I can hear your voice. I can
Yeah.
you see it. You see it. You have it
Yeah.
all laid out in front of you,
And
and that's why we talked for a very few moments about why this was great news, and we're like rambling about how the practicality is we're not going to say unfeasible because
yeah.
it's now they have to, so they're going to have to figure it out. But for us as like crypto commentators or whatever we are, it's I don't know. It's a little bit disheartening because it's like yay, and at the same time it's like oh my god, no, no, and can we talk about these 100,000 merchants need to do an on-chain transaction to like open channels?
Yeah.
Like, how long is that gonna take? How much are they gonna pay? Is this like a disservice to people more than I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just like
It's half. To, it's about 200,000 transactions a day. It has been as high as 400,000, but lately it's 2 to 300,000. And you add an extra 100,000 in just like that is going to put a huge shock on the system. And you know what happens when you have such a at capacity thing is the fees just it spike exponentially. And so then all of a sudden, like what what's probably going to happen is the fees go up. If Strike is doing this as part of their company, or if people are doing whatever, they're probably going to pick like a low fee transaction thing, which means some of them are going to go through within a couple hours, but then the rest are going to be stuck in low fee purgatory for weeks while you're waiting to onboard, which sounds like a lot of crappy banking services and stuff, right? And
are we just gonna laugh on the sidelines and watch it burn, or are they like gonna come out and like Lightning Network's going to be fixed and it's going to be super cheap and like it's going to be like whoa. And actually we're like imagine if now BTC devs are like maybe we should just increase the block size. Now
Yeah,
that El Salvador is coming around, let's just
it
do
could
that.
be, and that's the thing is, that's why I think that a lot of people are making hyperbole and plus and minus on this situation. Like, oh, it's the best thing
Yeah.
ever, laser eyes, or like, oh, it's all gonna crash and burn. I think we have to be in the discussions and we have to be honest above all at every juncture. And like I think it's gonna be an onboarding absolute nightmare. And the thing that you don't realize is if I want to set up my wallet to receive like Lightning wallet to receive transactions. So to get on Lightning, I have to send a transaction, right? Or there has to be a on-chain transaction sent. But if I open up, I have, like say I have $100 worth of Bitcoin, and I want to receive transactions. So I open it up a channel with Lightning, with like the Strike or something. I can send 100, but I can receive 0. They have to have $100 on their end open to me. And so they basically, let's just say, if you want to allow every Salvadoran merchant to receive Bitcoin through Lightning, if they're actually doing it on the Lightning network, which I'm wondering if they're just going to do it on their centralized integrated ledger and just say it's Lightning, but that's a different conspiracy theory. But if they want to do it, not only do they have to do 100,000 transactions to these merchants' new accounts, but they have to. What's 100,000? What's 100,000 times 100? That's like 10 million. So they have to allocate $10 million worth of Bitcoin just to allow each merchant to receive $100, and not just $100 at a time, $100 permanent. That's it.
Joel, listening to
Yes.
you explain the Lightning Network is painful. It's it's criminal what Bitcoin did by not scaling, basically. It really
Yeah, it's
it's like it bugs me. It's like it's we can laugh about it. We're like here saying, oh, poor El Salvadorians that have to figure this out. Freaking president, with laser eyes. It's like, but at heart, it, it's
mhm.
it's it's kind of showcasing to the world the crypto mess that we are still, you know?
Yes. And
And
that's
that's where I'm a bit bothered. I'm bothered because I wish this had been beautiful. I wish this was like a government saying, "Oh my god, yes, cryptocurrencies for the win," and that the user experience was fantastic. But no, it has to go through Bitcoin. It has to go through the Lightning network, and it's just like I'm sure people or some people you could get very
mhm.
emotional about it and get really really upset because it's
Yeah.
what a tragedy, like what a horrible cynical tragedy that we're in. Like
Yes.
how sad. Do you think Satoshi 12 years ago is like, oh, I can't wait for them to fuck it up so hard that they're here
Mhm.
in 2021 commenting about this like we are today? Like part of me is just like it's not okay. Part of me is like this is unacceptable actually. Even though I laugh about it, but part of me is really
Yeah,
upset.
and that's where we have to sort of compartmentalize our feelings on the matter in certain ways because I can't hate Bitcoin because it was what started everything,
Yeah,
and
but
I cannot hate the
it's
Lightning
not hate.
Network because there's a lot of people who are sincerely working hard to make this thing work as best as it can. It's it's not it's
I
Bitcoin
don't
is
care.
not the problem. Lightning's not the
I
problem. The problem
I
is
don't
whoever
yeah.
made Lightning necessary as the only way to send Bitcoin. That is the problem.
You're very nice. Cuz I don't
Otherwise, you go crazy.
No, but it's like it's not that I hate them. It's just that I'm like, you do you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's like I don't need to hate because hate is like an unnecessary energy to put out there. But it's so tragic to see it like this right now, basically. And they could what bugs me even more is that it could have been so easy to have like a different story.
Yeah.
Imagine if today, 2021, El Salvador accepts Bitcoin. Fantastic. It's cheap, it's wonderful, it's on any wallet, it's easy to
Hmm.
use and cheap like it should be. God damn it. It's so
Yeah.
easy. Like it should be. It should be peer-to-peer electronic cash. Like yay, El Salvador is using it as it should be,
Hmm.
but it's Bitcoin. And you're so diplomatic and I really admire maybe it's almost pedagogic position that you're taking, which is important in this space where tribalism and emotions run high. And look at me getting all upset
Of
about
course.
an abstract concept such as the Lightning Network. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about all these people. I'm thinking about all these people that could be actually empowered and alleviated from their position right now by using cryptocurrencies. But no,
Yeah,
they're using Bitcoin.
they
And I don't
will.
care that it's the first mover. I don't care that it's the first mover. That's like saying that someone's great because they were the first employee. Guess what? Get out. If you're not useful, get out. Like, and that's a problem with like certain company, and that would be a government. A government would keep someone years and years and years and years, even though they're not useful, right? But in a rational market, you get rid of the less interesting, crossing fingers for a more rational market out there. And the second thing you said is like, yay for the people working on the Lightning Network.
Mm-hmm.
There's nice people everywhere. There's nice
Mm-hmm.
people everywhere working on nice things, right? And like, of course, if they're like engineers and they're passionate about this, then okay, yeah. But
Yeah.
then you're not a solution for the whole wide world. I'm sorry. So like, no one's gonna like start running their own node. I'm sorry. There's a limit to things that we should be requiring people to be part of this
Yeah.
beautiful monetary revolution. Okay, rant over.
So let me hit this super chat we got, and then I could talk a little bit more about that specific. In my opinion, Lightning Network is a stillbirth. Ooh, that's a very interesting and kind of it's
Yeah,
kind of a
I get
metal
that.
it's kind of a metal
It's
like description.
it's
Yeah,
pretty
but anyway,
good.
Dash should do a proposal for a neighboring country to El Salvador just to tease people with a better solution. Maybe even people from Venezuela. Well, I should mention, of course, South America has a lot of cryptocurrency action in some ways or another. And Venezuela, most of a bunch of large chains in Venezuela, with more coming all the time, do accept cryptocurrencies, especially Dash, which is, from what I hear, again, I have to actually check the numbers, but in a lot of these places, it's the top 2 to 3 most popular coin there. And or sometimes one, depending on when. But a lot of people still know about Bitcoin. And there was a payroll solution that recently got implemented where Church's Chicken, which is one of the larger chicken franchises in the US, but also has stores in Venezuela. In Venezuela, they're starting to pay their employees in Dash now too, which is pretty good. Now you have, not only do they accept it for payment, but basically the world's moving forward already. And this Lightning thing it's this. I think we're just about to get a rude awake. I think this is going to be good for Lightning, to be honest, because it's going to, for the technology. Let me put it that way, because we're going to endure for a rude awakening as far as what needs to happen for this to actually work, which is a lot. Now, basically, I do not see this being a success. If it is a success, I cannot really be mad at it, but I'm being realistic. We'll see. It should be a lot of pain and anguish and a lot of people like struggling and saying this technology sucks and whatever, a lot of stuff. So I do want to touch on the Twitter thing because it is exactly relevant to what we were just saying about Jack Dorsey. He's always been a big Bitcoin BTC person with like the hashtags and the laser eyes and all that kind of stuff. And he says that it's only a matter of time before Lightning comes to Twitter. Which, all right, good luck, figure it out. But I
I don't
actually,
think
yeah,
people,
go ahead, say something.
sorry, I just
Yeah,
think people don't know what Lightning is. It's like they
yeah,
can say stuff, but it's like, yeah, okay, Jack, can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see you implement it. Like, really, this
yeah,
is gonna be great. Can't locking up all that value into channels which are blocked, and then having watchtowers to make sure that you can always receive payments, which are then going to be obviously KYC. It's like, yep, you do you, and Jack Dorsey and the millionaires of this world or presidents that want to see this. It's like, yeah, but there's people and there's users behind all of these things.
yeah. So this is, now the part where I start to say mostly positive things about Lightning, which that a lot of people would not expect. But I think that something like Twitter is actually a use case that's best suited for something like Lightning. And this is why. Twitter has, like, let's just say you're going to implement monetization into Twitter to where every time you hit like or retweet, you can send a little tip with them, which already exists on a bunch of different social platforms like MemoCache, right? I use that one, and you can already do that. Or Twitch is the BSV one and stuff. Now let's just say you implement that. 330 million users. So if you want to onboard 330 million, or what are these on-chain scaling chains, right? The day you implement this, you have 330 million new transactions just to get everyone started. That's already a lot. And so, like, what happens if I spend all day on Twitter? I could accrue several hundred transactions just on my own. And let's just say the average is like 20. So what's 330 million times 20? It's 6.6 billion transactions a day. What blockchain is going to take that just for Twitter while you're trying to buy stuff at the grocery store? So what's a centralized service, right? You don't need to run your whole finances. You just open one thing with them. Every time you pay, it routes through the Twitter node to the channel of the other Twitter user. You go back and forth all day, and then at the every month, let's just say, that's a B. And then you don't need to care that it's all in your wallet. Or let's just say Twitter and Facebook have like a sharing agreement where they connect their two nodes. So now a Twitter user could go zip and send to a Facebook user. Maybe it costs a little more because of the routing fee. It's like, that's kind of what off-chain, in my opinion, was meant for, is all these like micro payment kind of solutions or things like that.
But
Yeah.
you realize that you're going into sort of the off-chain, on-chain argument, right?
Yes.
Where you're saying that chain.
Mm.
But we've dispelled that myth, you know? We can grow on-chain.
Yes. Now, the idea is, how big is the upper limit? So my next door neighbor over there is a university scaling researcher for Arizona State University. He's done some research papers on scaling on-chain and come up with some new things like participating in the velocity protocol, which is some pretty interesting stuff on block propagation. And I think, so from hearing what he's been able to figure out and drawing on other big scaling researchers, you can scale on-chain for the whole world. Now, as far as the other economic principle is, there is such a thing as scarcity. There is a limit on how much something you can have compared to other things, right? So that does not mean that everyone cannot use this or everyone cannot use this on chain. It does mean that at some point, if I want to send 1 million transactions myself per day and everyone wants to do that, that's not going to work. At some point, that is going to jack the fees up high enough to where, like maybe 1 cent or 2 cents, to where I'm going to stop sending 1 million a day. I'll just send my 5 payments of the day or whatever, and it all evens out. And so basically, a lot of these use cases work on chain for, and this is where the BSV people especially will get really pissed off at me, but I don't care. A lot of these work on chain for again, and by the way, technology and research can advance by the time half the world uses crypto, that then they found some way to do like a sharded chain or something. But anyway,
no, but seriously, I don't think there's a problem with growing on chain, and I'm not a BSV like person, anything like that. And I just think we've spread still happening, so we still don't know. But from what I hear from BCH devs, we could go really much further than what we're at. We could. We just we don't need right now, but we could. Like, and we can adjust based on demand, and we can scale properly.
Yeah.
It's, like blocks right now are kind of empty.
Yeah, on a lot of chains for sure.
Yeah.
And
so,
that's a funny thing that I think is interesting, is anytime you want to do something like technologically, it's like, have you ever do they have Yelp over where you're at? Do you use Yelp a lot?
No, I think that's very American.
Yeah, probably is. But do you ever use, like, what do you use to find out, like, say, restaurants around you? What service do you use to like look for that?
Friends and recommendations, because
you don't have you don't do it via app at all? No.
No.
Is it done though?
What do you mean?
Like, do people other than you tend to do that? Like, where am I going to eat today? What restaurants are? I mean, surely like someone looks up on Google at least like what is around them or something, right?
I don't think there's that culture that much. I think people,
Mm,
I think people here expect bad service.
that's hilarious.
And then you wish for good food and you're pretty like content, You're like I don't think there's like such a high bar here. We're kind of just happy being
Hmm.
outside, and this is a country that which eats fried balls of meat in bread. So again, low
Yeah,
bar on
that sounds good to me.
culinary stuff.
Yeah,
But it's just we're not just. I feel like people here like can be very honest and brutal, but at the same time, your waiter's just like not gonna come. Actually, could you serve me
yeah.
something? So it's different, and I'm saying that whereas I had like fantastic service today. So it's yeah, but no Yelp. Just you have to know where to go. It's
Well,
more of an informal thing.
let me just use a different example. Whether it's you're looking at clothes, for example, online, or you're looking at apartments to rent, or whatever it is. Just when you're looking at like information selection, you have all the possibilities, and then you have to add a filter of some kind. Like it has to be this price range, or it has to be this size, or it has to be this like square
Yeah.
footage or square
Hmm.
meters of the house or whatever. And each
Yeah.
one of those narrows down the possibilities. Each variable you put in, right? It narrows the whole thing down. And I feel like that is the thing that happened with Lightning, where Lightning turned out the way it was because people added too many arbitrary restrictions and they had to do the best that they could with those restrictions. Like it has to not fundamentally change the way Bitcoin works at its core level. Like they can't upgrade the protocol to make something more efficient, like a perfect side chain, for example, like a like the Matic network on Ethereum or whatever, like that kind of thing. They can't do that. They cannot increase the block size. Again, these are arbitrary variables they put in. They
So these
cannot,
are
you know,
these are human limitations.
yes,
This is what
exactly.
happened.
And so everyone puts in some sort of a limitation. Like, for example, one limitation in on chain scaling does not mean it can't scale, by the way, but just one limiting variable is, do you want to keep a permanent record of all transactions that ever existed across this chain? And then the answer can be yes or no, or it can also be, well, some people should keep that, but not everyone. And then, of course, then some, what do they call them? Like archive nodes can keep the whole blockchain forever, but most nodes of other kinds don't. And people running their actual like phone wallets don't need any of that. And so, all right, do you want to, this? Do you want to that? Do you want like every? And so scalability, like infinite scalability, is always going to depend on what the actual purpose is for it. So, for example, like you want to keep the permanent financial record of like the money that has been sent across, the whole world, right? Like the way like let's just say the Bitcoin blockchain today. I think that's a good idea, don't you? Like just
Yeah,
to
that's
keep the whole thing. Not everyone thinks it's a good idea. I do. I think it's interesting. Now,
I'm
do you want to
I'm
keep a permanent record of every single time you clicked like on a tweet, for example? Does that need to be permanent and eternal? Or does it just need to be the most recent state of like, these are all the things that are liked, these are all the things that are not liked?
well, if Bitcoin could do more than transactions, then they might have to think about these things. But right now, they
Yeah.
just have to think about that they are a big ledger. That's it.
Yeah.
Like if they were something more interesting with smart contracts and other things going on, they might have to start considering what data they keep and how long they keep it, and how do they
Hmm.
connect to the real world. But since it's just a ledger, yeah, have the whole ledger. That's what I
Yeah.
would say.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is we're hitting with Ethereum, which Ethereum did not artificially limit. Well, there's some nuance to that statement as well, but for the most part, they're committed to on-chain scaling. The
And
pro
they're committed to scaling. Like that's
Yes.
just in itself is like
Yes, and that's the thing about Ethereum is because they put everything on one chain, now they run into a bunch of difficulties and they're trying to scale on L2s and stuff like that, and then now they're trying to prune transactions because the transactions are not as they're not like money all the time. They're they're not as important to keep, for example. And the other thing, for example,
But that's a luxury to have, right? You realize that's
yes,
a luxury. They have that luxury of being like, yeah, we've added too much stuff, or that we don't. But Bitcoin is like an embarrassment to even have to think of what they have to keep or not. They don't. They whatever. They're it's just not interesting what they're doing or the tech. And I'm much more. I realize I'm much more angry than you. It's
yeah,
interesting.
that's
I'm
probably
discovering
because
this on this podcast
that's
because
probably
I'm
because you
usually
hung out a lot with the Bitcoin Cash people. They cultivate the rage. That's for
but
sure.
I
They
stepped
nurture
out of
it.
it. No. But I also realized that I
Hmm.
stepped out of it. I stepped out of a lot of BCH stuff like end of December when I
Hmm.
when I basically stepped out of Satoshi's Angels. I was like, this year, the IFP and all that stuff just ate me up, right? But even now that I have some perspective on it, I usually don't talk about BTC.
Hmm.
It's usually not part of the conversation, yeah, because it's even though that's what the market is looking at, and even though that's what the exterior people are looking at, and they're looking at the price all the time, and it's either dead or going up or blah blah blah. It's I know that it's not going to be the winner. I know that in 10 years, oh my god, I shouldn't be saying this, it's like one of those things that's going to haunt me.
Of course, but
But
10 years
in
it'll be
10
a different world.
it will be a different world. But will BTC have scaled? I was half joking before, if they actually see a spike in users from El Salvador, from this whole news that we've been talking about before,
Hmm.
and that the devs decide, okay, well, now we actually want to scale this way because Lightning, after 18 months of trying it in El Salvador, is not working. Let's scale. Let's have bigger blocks. I'll be so happy to see that happening. So there's none of that. But right now, to just be talking about the Lightning Network and to talk about this very basically over engineered solution to scaling, which is unpractical and actually not user friendly and actually really hard to implement at a business level, let alone an individual.
Hmm.
I think this is we should be talking about, we should be talking about Ethereum basically, or other blockchains which are innovating and actually trying to have
Yeah.
money, which is peer-to-peer electronic cash, whatever block. I know that
Hmm.
I would call you like more the Dash guy. You can call me more the BCH girl, whatever. But it's like whatever works. Let's not talk about what doesn't work. Like
Yeah.
it's
So, and that's one of the reasons I'm involved with Lightning is because I need it for a primary source of information. Because is
fair.
Bitcoin going to scale? If it will scale, it will only be through Lightning. So I want to use Lightning. So anytime someone asks me, "Hey, how's it working?" I'm just going to try and send some Lightning and say, "Nope, still sucks." Or like,
Yeah.
at least,
What
or if
was
there's a breakthrough, I want to be involved in the breakthrough. I want to be there when it happens. So that's why you kind of have your fingers in all these different pies, you know?
that guy who has been helping you with the Lightning Network? What's his name? Max? There's a Max
Max
guy, right?
Hillebrand.
Sorry, say
Was
his
it
name
Max
again.
Hillebrand?
Yes, he's the same guy where I tried to so I tried Lightning as well, right? A
Mm-hmm.
couple of years ago because
Oh, I'm sorry.
Max was in Amsterdam,
Yeah.
and I tried with 4,000 satoshis to open and just connect. Oh, and he didn't want to connect to my channel because his is private, so it's like no, I only connect to certain nodes or whatever. And for a couple of days, because we had like this Bitcoin conference in Amsterdam, and um I wanted to try it just by intellectual honesty as well, for like maybe like you in an educational way.
Mm-hmm.
And during the couple of days that these people were here in Amsterdam and we tried, and I was never able to just even connect, let alone open a channel and fund it.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot more
So
difficult back then, but it's still. I mean, that's what one reason why people see me like tweeting. Some people are get angry when I tweet about I'm doing this about because some people just say
no.
like why aren't you just gonna give up? Stop doing it. And then other
I'm
people say,
no, it's good. It shows. I think it's so important that you're out there not only doing I actually did I even like let a comment once like that was like, "Thank you, Joel, for doing this, so that we can all learn as you're still trying." Because like you said, like when I tried and versus now is different.
Mm-hmm.
And I also would be the first to applaud if you're like, "Oh my god, guys, lightning is like so easy and it took me like 3 seconds, and whoa, user experience and user interface is incredible, and I'm all doing this from a non-custodial wallet." And it was just, I would love to see content that way, but it's just,
Yeah.
I saw you struggling for weeks, basically. That was the result, is that I saw,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah,
And
but
and I don't like, rather than just say, "Oh, this is the way it is," I want to just document it as it goes along, and so people can make their own conclusions. And so that's why, just got to stay up with everything. And so someone mentioned something about, you know, Dash usernames and stuff. So there's a wallet, and it's one of those, like, sometimes you just have to realize, like, things are the way they are. They turned out the way they turned out, and we have to work with that. And, like, I would have loved for Dash usernames and to be on mainnet, like in 2017 or 2018 or whatever. Like, it turns out, some problems are extremely hard to crack, which is why no one's really done like a good implementation. But there is a wallet out, or it's a testnet wallet, but it's still out right now. And see, there's my little profile, and
aw.
I can edit.
Wait, show me. Is it nice? Is it actually a nice interface and stuff?
Yeah, it's all right.
'Cause that's,
And so
I'm always
that's
judging stuff
it's
like
my
that. I'm
display
like,
name
is
and
it
then my
pretty?
little
Let's
bio,
see.
and that's stored on the Dash network itself. The testnet network, right? This has not yet been deployed in the mainnet, but it still works. And then if you see, this is my payment history with all these usernames, and it groups them by day. See, look, I paid this guy twice on this day. And then I
Okay.
can open them, and I just click on his name. Oh, and there's a big pay button. Let me pay him. And by this is my entire transaction history with this one user. Each time has been to a new address, but the network collects it all under one username, right? And I'm connected with them on the network by a friending thing, a decentralized friending thing. So if it's not just my payments that are decentralized, but my contacts and my connections, my friends list, that's all in a decentralized network and stuff. Again, still
All
test
our
it. It's
friends are
not,
decentralized friendships.
yeah, decentralized friendships. So there's that's like cool to look forward to. That is the kind of thing where I'm thinking this is something you can take to 6.4 million people and say, why don't you use some crypto stuff? Look, see, you create your name. You just, what's your friend? You add them there. You just say, pay this
What's
person to
that?
that.
There's an amazing BSV wallet that's also like that. What are they called?
Hand cash. The problem
Oh
is
yeah,
hand
god
cash
damn it.
is centralized and I believe
I know.
custodial. And there's
Yeah,
nothing.
didn't they change? But like their user experience of, you have to salute them. Those guys have good use UX UI
Yeah.
developers.
And again,
But yeah,
they managed to
custodianship,
get
that
it
boo.
done because they did not have to solve how to do this in a decentralized manner. They can still take away
Fair.
your account. You cannot use this in a different thing, a different wallet, a different anything. And so far, that doesn't really matter because you don't run into any problems. It's kind of like Shapeshift back in the day. You could do anything you wanted on Shapeshift. You could trade any token for anything in any amount, no one cared. It just worked. And at some point, you couldn't because the problems with it being a centralized semi-custodial solution, right? The problems with those ended up happening, right? The regulations. And then now they're going back to the decentralized stuff, do it the same way, right? So, yeah, it's at some point everything moves forward. And for example, right now we are live streaming on Odysee, which is a library-based protocol. I control my keys to all my money on there. All my content is on the decentralized network. All my followers are on the decentralized network. And I mean, yeah, it's great. Basically everything. Now, the site itself, Odysee.com, is not a decentralized site, just a portal to this whole decentralized network. And as far as I know, the live streaming aspect of this is not decentralized either. They're facilitating that, and then once the result from the live stream is uploaded, then that's actually on the blockchain. So it's like an intermediary step. At some point you might be able to have 100% decentralized live streaming. Right now it's tricky, but it's like I have no problem with hand cash, right? Because I've used it before, and I know Alex who runs it and stuff.
Oh
I know
yeah.
plenty of people
Yeah.
who use it. It's works. It's elegant. It's a good UX, all that kind of stuff. And I don't fault people for building centralized solutions because we do need them sometimes. But
Yeah.
it's not
I don't.
the
Yeah.
it. It's not the ultimate that we're waiting for.
No, but it's. I feel like that's already closer than the Lightning Network will ever be.
I think so too. You know, as much
So
as much
we
as
keep.
BSV haters want to say that, I
Yeah.
think
No,
so
but
too.
you have to pick and choose your battles, right? And
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not gonna try to onboard people to the Lightning Network. I'm sorry, that's not happening. I'll show them. You know what? I'll show them a hand cash before before I'll show someone Lightning. But kudos to that Max guy because he was the same guy who did that for me a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
and
he's a
he's the
good
one
dude.
there for you. So and he's a nice guy, and he's sincere, like
Yeah, and
he
and
he he
honest.
believes.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
sincere people who are kind of self-deluded a little bit, but he seems to be very forthright about stuff where,
I
you know,
yeah, he's honest. He's honest about what he's doing. I think, and I think he's very he knows the shortcomings of what he's showing and presenting to people. I've seen you trying to pick beef with people on Twitter, Joel. I've seen you being like all sneaky on certain accounts
you
and
mean
leaving
Pomp?
comments like,
I do roast Pomp
"Are you?
anytime I can.
Are
Cuz
you? Do
his
you know him? Like, or
no,
are you just what,
I don't want
Joel? You're like usually you're like such. I see
he's the
your
exception
tweet.
cuz he pisses me off so much. His pizza
Why?
scam.
Why does he upset you but not the Lightning Network? It's okay. He's just a mouthpiece for all of this, you know? Like,
Yeah,
no?
well, it's because I do believe people working on Lightning for the most part are sincerely trying to get cryptocurrency adopted as a peer-to-peer system. And some people maybe not, but a lot of people are, or they
Okay.
believe that Bitcoin's going to change the world for the better, and they're doing their best
Okay.
to get the technology up.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
I think Pomp is just a grifter. I just think he's like, and this is okay. This is my personal opinion, and if he can show me differently, he can. But
Yes.
I think he's
Okay.
just exploiting what he sees as an opportunity to make it rich because he does not. He's always long Bitcoin, short the bankers, blah 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 blah. He's always like hyper rhetorical. Yet for none of his businesses does he accept Bitcoin. Like why do you want fiat? I think he sees Bitcoin as a great way to get more fiat and more fame. Not I don't think he gives a flying fuck about crypto. I do not. I honestly don't. But he's the loudest voice of like rah rah. So anytime there, I just have to roast him. Just say like, you should take it for your pizza, Pomp. So,
I see those they make me laugh, but at the same time I'm like, Joel, don't lose your breath on this person. It's like
but
there's
it's funny
there's
too. I'm
so
having fun.
but there's okay, fine. If you're having fun, fine. But it's just like there's I'm not like there's so many
Hmm.
pumps, right?
Yes.
Pump is not the only one like this. So if you like spend all your time on Twitter just like flagging people that are like fake crypto people or something like that, it's like there's a lot of them. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people that
I didn't have a problem with him. I mean, I never really liked him, but I didn't have a problem with him until
oh
he
the
went to the
pizza,
Bitcoin Pizza Day, like literally the most. If I mean,
the pizza.
it's not religious, right? But it's one of the most sacred institutions of crypto, which is the first time this was actually exchanged in a recorded way for another thing of value, and it's just like this is the beginning of freedom. It's like a holy day almost, if such a thing exists, right? And he scammed everyone. He used that to just make money. Oh, we're gonna sell pizza and stuff, but it's only for fiat. It's like Fiat Pizza Day. Get out of here, man. It's like it
Don't you
was
think
so
he
bad.
probably no? But he just saw that Mr. Beast or one of those YouTubers launched a fast food company, and he thought I'm going to do the same thing.
But they better, as long as they take crypto, as long as they just say, "Oh yeah, we accept Bitcoin on chain only," and literally two people do it. I don't care. Just don't go that far, and then just say. And he knew what he was doing. He just said, well, we're not going to take it because we don't want people to part with their Bitcoin because it'll be worth more in the.
So because I've been working with some marketeers and they were like, who do you like in the space? Like which type of voices are
They like pomp,
you
I'm sure.
do you like? And they're like, who don't you want to sound like, right? So I was like, okay, I never want to talk about price. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one. So that excludes a lot of people out there that do tweet about the price or
Yeah.
talk about the price and stuff. I don't want to create fear or FUD, or I don't want to do FUD or FOMO. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
play on that either. So obviously my marketing team is like, oh my God, but like interaction girl. And I'm like, no, I don't care. I want to be boring and talk about crypto and fundamentals. And that's the marketing I'll do. And then when I had to specifically name people that I didn't want to sound like, Pomp was out there. And for me, another one that really bugs me, and I'll just say
Let's
it.
see.
I don't call out names, but Dan Hadel.
Dan, yeah, oh, screw that guy too.
And
I've been
and like,
trying to get him to block me because I don't usually block people I disagree with.
no,
And
but it's like, I love Kraken. God damn it. I love Kraken. But like, he's their spokesperson. And I'm like, should I like choose another exchange or something just because I don't like Dan Hadel? No, because I'm a
no,
rational human being. But oh, he upsets me. And he's all
yes,
over my LinkedIn. He's on my LinkedIn. That's all I see. He's huge. I don't know, whatever. I don't care the other platforms, but like for LinkedIn, which
yeah, he's
I don't
he's a
know.
little like
Are we just like
he's more
Joel? Are we just like grumpy
dumping
people?
on people. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm afraid that we're just like going into very negative space.
back in my
Crypto's
day, crypto
beautiful.
is used to buy things with, you know.
Yeah. Are we like just like, are we crypto boomers? Is that where we are, Joel? Are you on
Yes,
TikTok? I'm not on TikTok.
I'm not
I
on
feel
TikTok.
bad. How are
I
we supposed to talk to the millennials of today, Joel?
not
We're,
even the
we're lacking.
millennials. You know, it's just the previous ones. You just don't want to be the old guy on TikTok. You know, like it just
I don't want to do TikTok either. Do you do? I feel like we should do like Instagram Reels, and I started using Twitter Fleet, and I'm almost embarrassed of it. And it's like it's really, I don't know. I don't know where to put the line anymore on what I share and what I don't
yes,
share. And like, I put a selfie the other day, and I was like so self conscious about it, and I was like
selfie conscious.
selfie conscious, and it's like
Yes.
oh cringe, but then
Yeah, there's
I
something
don't know.
there's something like I think one needs to stay with the times while at the same time you look you look weak if you just follow the herd too much. And like if you're like today putting laser eyes like Paris Hilton is doing and stuff, it's just like nah, it's too late. Come on. It's like everyone already did that. Or like I don't know, just like cringy things that everyone's doing, like all the like volcano energy. Like that's another part of the Salvador thing. Apparently, the president of Salvador
Yeah.
says there's some volcano they're going to use for renewable energy to power Bitcoin mining thing. All right, well, cool. Let's see if it happens. But people are saying like, oh, like someone was wearing like a red piece of clothing and was just like volcano energy today or something. I'm like, I felt that in my stomach, like I was the one wearing that in front of like 1,000 people. I felt so terrible, but for that person. But
Uh,
two last hyper chats and we're gone. Well, first off, the super chat I put on the screen here. Smiley anonymous person says $10 in
aw,
Bitcoin Cash. Thank you, Smiley anonymous person.
aw,
You may remain anonymous as long as you are Smiley. So
that's cute.
yeah, that's very nice of you. And
That's very sweet.
um,
Oh, I'm reading. Okay, since we're like on the go, I'm reading the YouTube comments a little
oh
bit
no,
now.
oh no.
What do you
Let me
mean?
hit
Oh
the
no.
let's hyper chat I didn't do yet.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
Nudge again, hi Nudge, said, I'm in on the Dash, Bitcoin Cash, Monero, and Hive communities, all for different reasons. There is some overlap in functionality, but people are innovating everywhere. Disregarding all minority project as shitcoins is not the way to build sustainable mass adoption. Not much to say other than, yeah, you're right, Nudge. You're right. All right, now go to the YouTube comments.
Woo! I'm reading through. Did I curse? I'm like, well,
I think you
whatever.
did, but that's fine. I
I
I,
tried
I
not
said some
to.
mean
It's
things
so
too.
it's so unswiss of me.
It's all right.
um. Oh, okay. Other people are feeling the Ellen burn. It's okay. Um. 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 um.
Yeah. Also, Nudge mentioned before about people annoying him might be Michael Saylor. I have to say,
Hmm?
Max Kaiser is an interesting person in this regard. As far as you don't, do you know Max Kaiser?
The guy who did that BitConnect moment at the
Yes.
Miami conference. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about him?
So he's one person that annoys me today for a couple of different reasons. First off, he's Mr. BitConnect, you know, like, okay, whatever. Like, this is what you're doing. He's super, like, anti shitcoin type thing, and he's always blocking people on Twitter and all this stuff and getting banned, and they got a new account or whatever. Back in the day, he,
Back. Wait, we need a boomer music in your post.
back in
I
my
wish this
day,
was
back in my day,
back in my
in
Yeah.
2017 or 18, I don't remember which exact year, but he got paid by Dash to promote Dash on a show, on like a documentary with Stephen Baldwin, I think. You know Alec Baldwin, the actor? Is like one of his
Yeah.
brothers. Him and Max Kaiser did like a
Okay.
road trip across the US and like with a big Dash branded van and all this stuff.
Really?
Yeah. And so
Okay.
he did that. And even before then, he started his own cryptocurrency called Max Coin that was a just total scam shit coin and stuff. And now he's like maximal and all this stuff. And like, oh, shit coiners. Like, no, we know where you came from, Max. We know. Like, you're not, this is all a grift. You're like every bit the grifter that Pomp is.
I feel
Mm.
I feel like when we're putting content out there, like maybe for those that are listening or that will listen to us, I appreciate you sticking all the way with us right now. And
Yes.
we might get upset like this, and you might think, oh, but Joel and Ellie are just like they're just grumpy crypto boomers or whatever. But it's because we really. I just want to underline that it's because we really care as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we actually really care. I say we about the beauty of what cryptocurrencies have enabled. And Joel, I mean, hats off to you. You're a true inspiration. That was what I wanted to add as well. Is that I was asked what I didn't want to you, your content, your voice, your political motivation um, are something I absolutely look up to, and I am still not completely unbanked. And I just, yeah, you're one of those that I look up to, and of course Naomi Brockle, which I'll always be like a fangirl of. Um, there's just not many. There's just not many content creators, people to look up to that are doing this really. So just
Yeah, well,
yeah, for this,
thank you very much
we
for that.
care.
That's very nice. And I do say, like, Naomi is someone I have, you know, looked up to as far as making it as like the independent content creator, trying to be respectable and stuff. And especially, it's like I kind of started from nothing on this thing. She had the more difficult, she had the more difficult job of starting from something, like starting
Hmm.
from an actual voice where she was a little more like, hey, trying to be everyone's friend, just like the surface level stuff, and just managed to just mature into something way better, which is way harder, that you have to like kick. I'm Bitcoin girl. I'm Bitcoin. Now she's not Bitcoin girl. She's like for real now. And that's hard to get past. The people just want you to be Bitcoin girl and do little dances and stuff like that or whatever.
Hmm.
And so, but there's a lot of people, and like that's the thing is Max Hillebrand, for example, he says he's living unbanked off of Bitcoin. He has been as well. Now I don't know how the hell he does it with like BTC and Lightning and all this kind of stuff, but props to him for like being a real person. And like
Yeah.
there's other
Yeah.
people who are not unbanked but still use it in their daily life and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
just a lot of people are a little yeah.
So you mentioned, okay, we're obviously both fans of Naomi. We both respect Max for his intellectual honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else that I should be watching or following that's like an inspiration? Because I felt like my list was a bit short. I felt like my list of people I didn't want to sound like was longer. Um, is it just because there's less people like
There
this?
may be fewer. Thing is, there's a lot of like in that area of like people trying to like live off the stuff. It's pretty short. There's a friend of mine, Hytham, who goes by Unchained. He's on the board of the Dash Investment Foundation, and he's been living unbanked off of crypto since 2015. I think he beat me, but
Jesus.
he's more of like he's less of a spend it directly and more of a cash out for fiat cash once in a while. But like it's still like
Mm,
he's still like doesn't not holding, not having a bank account, not holding big things of fiat or
mm.
whatever. It's still it's a different different slice of the admiralty,
Right.
admirableness or whatever.
Yeah.
There's obviously everyone who builds this stuff
Mm.
is like obviously they already get tons of credit, so I'm not like
But like, who do you follow? Like, who is like, where? What's your content creator
like
that you go and like to listen to or something? Because okay, the builders are out there. Obviously, all the devs. Shout out to anyone who's like building on this, working on this. Yes, but like content creators,
there's extremely few that I like, I have to say, as far as like my segment of the profession. Naomi is like one of the people that I'll actually listen to her
right?
videos. Like most other
Yeah,
people I subscribe as a favor. I watch
yeah.
your stuff, and I'm trying to think of who else. It's difficult to find who
Right?
else. There's
Like,
a few.
why is it so short? Because in the past, I would say, Andreas or stuff like that. But Andreas also
Mm,
kind of like super dropped the ball. Ivan
mm-hmm.
on tech when I was also younger in crypto, I thought was
Yeah.
cool. And then I'm also like, meh. And so it's like, it's very limited list. And maybe we're more picky, more grumpy, and we're just, I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
I do
I
like
would like to have
Andreas
more.
Brecken,
Yes.
shitcoin.com. And
Yes,
in
he's
fact,
fun.
he's
their
actually,
and
he
their newsletter is
inspired me. And
awesome.
if
It's fun.
Andreas inspired me to start doing the lightning stuff because I read his tutorial on like how to do
Interesting.
lightning. And he used to be the biggest lightning node on the entire network. And
Really?
when he shut down his node, like half the network stopped working because they couldn't connect to like
You're
route through stuff.
kidding.
Yeah, Andreas Brecken of
I didn't
sideshift.ai and on.
know.
Yeah, and he's a real person. Like as far as
Like,
the
yeah.
stuff he
I've
does is real. And so
yeah.
that was a huge inspiration for like
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I was already trying to live unbanked off crypto before, but he was a big
Mm.
inspiration as far as the wanting to like let me run my own this, let me run my own, let me just see
Mm.
if it works. Like not just I'm going to use what I'm using, but let me use everything in to a
Yeah.
deeper extent. Like
Do you follow so Andres Birkin, Naomi Brockwell, okay. Do
mhm.
you do on the DeFi side, on the Ethereum side, I've been really enjoying Bankless guys.
Yeah, they need to have me on because I'm actually bankless. I don't know if they are. But
I Are they completely they're really just they're good. Those guys are, yeah, just FYI. I've been enjoying their podcast and their content and their newsletter to kind of keep up a lot with every other DeFi protocol out there and what's happening there. I do find that in their own um,
mhm.
roundup of the week, they speak a bit too much about the price, which bugs
I
me
think people
because
have to
price talk
sometimes.
just, yeah, but it's like we just don't know. So if you're just like commenting for a gazillion years about like how the price might go up or down, it's like, yeah, it might go up or down.
So my most viewed video of all time on YouTube is why does the Bitcoin price go up? And I did a video. It
Really?
it didn't talk about like what the price is going to do, but I just went into like literally why it goes up or down. Why is that? And of course, I mentioned scarcity and demand and speculation, and like these are the things to look forward to. It's a classic me style video. It's just that because it's had the word P, the P word, it just went up. So this is a little bit of a first off. Nudge left another hyper chat says I travel on crypto. So if you go on Odysee, nudge, he's been traveling around South America and he uses crypto and stuff like that, and it's a pretty interesting travel channel. So if you want to look at that, you should look at that. Now, as far as this Cointree thing, we got a super chat from Great Wolf. A little bit of a political bent to this, or it's funny, it's a health-based bent, but still, in today's day, it's political. Do you guys see any parallel between Lightning versus on-chain scaling and pandemic solutions, like the vaccine versus ivermectin? One is simple and effective, and the other is questionable. But general populace isn't aware of a good solution because of censorship. And the part that got cut off at the end is, oh, what's Eleanor's have coin tree? basically you have a coin tree, right? But
Yeah.
it was phrased
But
strangely.
okay, what an I was like, I'm getting a bit lost in the comparisons that this person is asking us to make.
Well, let's just sort of cut through the comparison a little bit and just say basically one is a simple, like there are simpler versus more complex solutions to things. And at least I don't know what the rest of the world has been like, but in the US there's been a push towards everyone gets these few vaccines. There's one of three. I think there's only one of two because one got recalled for whatever reason. But
Mhm.
there's one of two. That's the way we combat the virus. When there's other ways, including there's some drugs such as hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin or stuff. And of course, this is all very rapidly developed. And I'm not a doctor, so whatever, that do work. There's a lot of evidence that sunlight kills the virus and vitamin D levels and not being obese and other removing comorbidities and stuff makes you much less likely to have it or to have it in any kind of a serious way. I mean, I'm been very healthy. I had the virus about a month or so ago, and it was just like less bad than a common cold. And probably because I'm young and healthy and stuff, and I know someone, I would compare rather than vaccine to like shutdowns, like literally lock everyone in their own homes and destroy the economy when you could do much easier ways to fix a thing. But then again, that's
Yeah,
my
but
personal opinion
yeah, but
on,
but then but then
yeah.
no fun, like of course if you can like push on the big red button, you're gonna push on the big red button if you can.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just very untrusting of any centralized authority at this point.
Yeah. And
I've seen them log this economy, which is a mercantile country. I've seen them change laws on the spot so that they can keep this charade of a lockdown in the Netherlands. So yeah.
yeah, you need to come to Porkfest or something. So let me just,
Okay. So that was one thing. And then I'm not going to give my coin tree here because by courtesy of like your great show,
oh,
today it's all about Joel. Okay. And
no,
if you
but
absolutely want
we're
to connect
wrapping
with
this
me,
up.
find me on Twitter.
So it's at Block Blanc. Block
Block
Blanc.
blank.
Block Blanc.
Block blanc.
That's
Um,
Twitter and Cointree, as far as I know.
yeah, it's
Your Odyssey channel yet? Because
yeah, I have. What do you mean?
I knew, let me just see. So it's just Crypto Canal?
Yeah, it's Crypto Canal for Odyssey because I've been putting the Humans of Crypto podcast on it. Even though I find Odyssey okay, Odyssey is cool, but it limits me when I'm putting videos up and stuff like that in terms of the size of it. So like the last podcast was just audio in the end. Like it's sad. Like
Interesting.
so the
Yeah,
video
I'll
was
show you
like
how to do it the right way.
okay, show me because the last video that I did for Humans of Crypto is online on YouTube, and I wanted to do the same thing for on Odyssey, but it was just like you're too big.
Yeah, I'm
You
going to
can't
have
come
to.
here.
I'm gonna have to yell at the Odyssey people because I found your channel. It's Crypto Canal,
Mm.
107 followers on Odyssey, no publishes, but a bunch of reposts from videos that were on that channel that I click on and don't exist. So it's just weird. I'll have to yell and get them all sorted out. But anyway,
No, wait, I'll put it here. It's because the Crypto Canal. I had to get Crypto Canal 2,
oh,
so
okay.
that's why. Sorry, I was not fast enough.
So Crypto Canal,
Is the one for Odyssey.
so it's Crypto Canal 2.
It's Crypto Canal and then
It's like
oh,
the second one there or something. Let
two
me.
dots. I just have 3 followers. But I just wanted to diversify where I put my content, right?
Uh huh. Of
So I
course.
put the link on YouTube as well.
Nice.
And yeah.
Yeah, the more things, the better. All right. This has been.
Oh, wait. Someone did ask about Roger Ver. Yes, Roger Ver, huge inspiration. Massive
Yes.
shout out to that guy. Why do you think I give crypto to every end of every show that I do? Largely inspired by his onboarding method as well. So absolutely, Roger Ver's still a Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, Roger's a dude. Um, it saddens me a little bit how he's become so involved with this political holy war type thing above other things. However, I like he's like the OG. He's the only old school dude other than potentially Satoshi, not right, who is like still out there and kind of like kicking ass and stuff.
Right?
So
Like, come on, that guy is. Whew.
respect. He's a very nice dude. I've met him and hung out with him in person. He just made time to meet with me one on one in Zurich and stuff.
Aw.
He's a cool dude, and he loves jujitsu and he wants to train jujitsu all the time. So if you want to do that with him, he's a good dude. Just careful because he will choke you out. Not I don't have personal experience with that, but I know he's quite good. All right, this has gone on way too long. Let's just wrap this thing up. Crypto Canal, Crypto Canal, Crypto
Yeah.
Canal, Blanc Blanc,
Thank you.
Blanc Blanc, Blanc Blanc.
Yes.
Remember,
Yes.
send and receive and spend crypto. Use it. If nothing else than for an educational tool so you understand what you're talking about when you actually
Yeah.
go online and tweet about it, right, Pomp? Jesus. So, sorry, salt came back. So, I will see you guys next week. I believe Paul Pui of the Edge Wallet, who's another
Watching you both talk.
yeah, that'll
'cause
be a good one.
Paul's
Paul's a good
awesome. Yes, also OG and been developing an amazing product. Edge is the only wallet I share to people, by the way.
dude. Nice.
So
Yeah, that works
there
great.
there you go.
All right. I think that's it. So, see you guys later, and yeah, have a good one.